They are the cyber gang whose ransomware attack has taken down Marks & Spencer. So, who are Scattered Spider, and how concerned should we be? Fans of Percy Pig have had a rough week. If you've been trying to order Marks & Spencer's iconic sweetie online, or even trying to pay for them in store, you may have run into a few difficulties. The reason? Well, M&S have been the victim of a massive cyber attack. Massive and also costly. Millions of pounds have been lost in sales. The company's share price hasn't quite fallen off a cliff, but it's certainly taken a tumble. The retailer is remaining pretty tight-lipped, but the suspicion is that a shadowy group known as Scattered Spider is responsible. Mickey Carroll is Sky's science and technology reporter. Good to have you back on the pod, Mickey. First things first, what exactly has happened to Marks & Sparks?
So, Easter Monday, they stopped being able to accept contactless payments. I actually went to go and see my brother and I needed to buy him a bouquet of flowers.
Very
and
nice,
couldn't
good.
Because I didn't have any of my cards on me.
Good excuse.
Exactly. So they stopped doing contactless payments at that point, and it kind of slowly became apparent that they were suffering this major cyber attack. Then they stopped a lot of their agency workers from going to their distribution centres, again because of the cyber attack. And over the last few days, there's been more and more reports of empty shelves across Marks & Spencer's. It's having a massive impact on their business.
I just went on the Marks & Spencer website. The website is still up, but you can't make orders through it at the moment. So again, a big part of their business. So do we know how this has happened?
So Marks & Spencer's at the moment aren't giving many details. There's some stuff that's been leaked, and there's a lot of stuff that cyber experts are able to deduce. So what reports are saying has happened, and experts kind of have verified, is it looks like cyber criminals were able to access M&S's systems, and if it's the group that everyone thinks it is, they probably did that going through employees.
To what end?
It's about money. So again, M&S haven't said this. In situations like this, usually they will be being held ransom. So
ransomware, they call it, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. So their systems will be being held, and their data especially will be being held by hackers until they give them money.
So who do we think's behind this?
All signs point towards a group called Scattered Spider.
An interesting name. Explain that. I bet there's a story behind it.
It's a very good name because it's very apt. Scattered Spider, I mean, I just called them a group. They're more of a sort of conglomerate network. They actually didn't name themselves. So Scattered Spider were named by a company called CrowdStrike, who you may remember from last year's big tech failure. Anyway, they named them a few years ago because they needed to have something to refer to this group as. They work in small hacking groups, but they kind of come together and brag to each other and share tips and stuff.
So when it comes to ransomware, when it comes to attacks on this scale, they've got something of an impressive CV then?
Yes, Scattered Spider are kind of one of the really big players in terms of hackers. I spoke to a security company yesterday who said that they are their main priority in groups that they're tracking. They've got a stellar CV in terms of hacking. So they're known to have hacked hundreds of companies around the world, but their biggest one that really hit the headlines was in 2023. They hacked MGM and Caesars, which is in Las Vegas. So they shut down a lot of the casino operations for Caesars and held it until Caesars gave them $15 million.
Sorry, say that again. 15 million?
This is a huge industry. I mean, in the UK, for example, in the last 5 years, British businesses are thought to have lost £44 billion through cyber attacks.
That's not ransomware.
That's not just
£44 billion
exactly.
paid out, but it's net losses across the businesses.
Yeah.
OK, so how on earth are they doing this? How do you get into the Marks & Spencer's through the back door, as they used to say?
Without wanting to sound like I'm applauding them, Scattered Spider are quite clever. So they're known to use human vulnerability as their tactic to get in.
You're going to have to explain that.
So instead of finding kind of holes in a firewall or something, really kind of technical solution, what they do instead is they exploit people's stress and people's kind of lapsadaisicalness when you're logging on at work and stuff like that to get people's emails and passwords and then get into systems that way. So some of the things that they do is they create fake login pages with kind of what looks like the multi-factor authentication tools that we all get. They create fake ones of those and send them out to people or just redirect people to links. They pose as IT support workers and phone people or message them on Teams and then speak to them on Teams. And the other kind of known tactic for them is they phone companies and get them to switch people's numbers